Hello and welcome to the Garden Challenge. Today we're going to do challenge number 2. Here's a review of what we did in challenge number 1. First of all, we found our garden zone. We figured out what plants we like to eat and that grow well in our area and that we want to grow in our gardens. We started a plan. We made a list and or bought our gardening tools and supplies, and finally found a local gardening group and or buddy or both, either online or in person. So today we're going to talk about challenge number 2. We're going to learn about George Washington Carver, and we're going to learn about a formula that will help your garden thrive. So who is George Washington Carver? Well, he was born into slavery. He lost both of his parents at a very young age. I believe his father passed away before he was born and his mom was kidnapped. He loved caring for and learning about plants. He grew up to be the first African American to earn a bachelor's degree of science. He studied how growing cotton and tobacco depleted the nutrients from soil, which resulted in low harvest yields. He learned that soybeans, sweet potatoes, peas, and peanuts would enrich the soil. And he spent a lot of his time finding alternative uses for these veggies. So for sweet potatoes, he invented flour, starches, sugars, vinegar, stains, dyes, paints, and ink for writing. And he found that peanuts were a great source of protein for people who couldn't afford meat. So he found out some things that he could make from peanuts, including milk, butter, sauces, cooking oil, salad oil, medicines, cosmetics, face creams, and powder. He actually discovered more than 200 industrial and commercial products from the peanut. Also, he saved agriculture by developing crop rotation methods. That's probably the most important thing he did. And he worked with farmers to help them learn how to do this so they could conserve the nutrients in their soil. So back then, the biggest crops that made good money were tobacco and cotton. So by inventing these other uses for these plants that would put nutrients into the soil, it became more likely that a farmer would try to plant these other less popular plants. So now we're going to go over a garden bag mix, and it doesn't have to be a gardening bag. It could be a pot, raised beds. Basically, if you don't have rich soil or compost and you want to grow not directly into the soil, actually you could put this just in the soil too. But here's what's worked for me and for a great price: straw, peat moss, compost, jungle growth, and marine cuisine. How are you going to grow your garden? So here are some possibilities. You could sow your seeds directly into the ground. You could do hydroponics. Or here are some ideas if you aren't doing those. Instead of having a raised garden bed, you could use a swimming pool, and I'm going to share a video about that on my Facebook page. You can use these gardening bags, and that's what I have done, and it's worked well for me. Or you could do raised beds. Here are the ingredients that I was telling you about. These are all from Lowe's, and here's the peat moss. You can get that for $19.98. That's actually probably way more than what you'll need. This black velvet mushroom compost is great. It's only $5.78 for that bag, and that's 40 pounds of organic compost. I'm probably going to get a couple of them because I have a lot of bags I want to fill. Just start small and see. If you need more, you can always get more later. And then jungle growth, that is the soil, the potting soil, is for growing flowers and or vegetables, used by master gardeners and universities for all containers and gardens. So that's good news. And then finally, the straw. This is pretty expensive. You can probably buy smaller amounts, but I like to use the straw as my mulch also. So there's that. And then this swimming pool, if you want to poke holes into it, that's only $12.98. So that's very cost effective. Then here on Amazon, you can get the gardening bags. I got both of these sizes. There's a 10-pack of 7-gallon grow bags. There's a 10-pack of 5-gallon grow bags. I think I got both of those because that's about how many I have in my garden. And what I love about these is that you can move them around. You know, if you want to move them to a different area, if they need more sunlight, or if it's windy and you want to move them, I don't know, so they don't get blown over, whatever. Not that they would get blown over unless it's a hurricane, because actually I did have to do a lot when we were preparing for hurricanes. Okay, so those gardening bags, that's $24 for 10 and $23 for 10. So that's an investment because I'm on my second or third year. I think I'm starting my third year on these. Okay. And then finally, the marine cuisine. It is a great fertilizer. That's $25. And then finally, if you want to do raised garden beds, here is this. This little thing costs $338 per thingy. I don't know what to call that. Oh, it's called a tan brown concrete planter wall block. Okay, it's a wall block. So what you do is you buy at least 4 of these, and then you can slide wood into the grooves. So let's look at this little video here. See how they have that all together? So there is that, and you can like form different, like look at how cool this is. So those are all the blocks right there. So they have them stacked. So they have you can have it higher, you can have different levels, you could just have one or several that are this size. I kind of like it a little bit higher than that. Then you don't have to bend over so much if you have to pull any weeds and when you're doing your harvest. And this one is so cute, different levels. So makes your yard look pretty as you're growing your food. So since I'm probably not living in the same area that all of you are living in, you might want to check with your neighbors, your gardening buddies, and your gardening groups that you're finding, your local groups that you're finding on YouTube or Facebook, or that you're connecting with in person. They might have suggestions about what techniques and or gardening product has helped them have successful harvests. They may know where you can get manure, mulch, or other gardening necessities at a great price. They may have other suggestions about what has worked for them. I'm going to read this quote for you from George Washington Carver. "The farmer whose soil produces less every year is unkind to it in some way. He is not doing to it what he should. He is robbing it of some substance it must have, and he becomes therefore a soil robber rather than a progressive farmer." So he knew a lot back then already, and we can learn from that. Because before agriculture, the soil didn't get depleted because things were constantly growing and dying, and the soil kept getting replenished. Agriculture kind of ruined that. So we have to be very thoughtful with how we treat our soil. So in summary, the most important thing you can do is prepare your garden to make sure you have rich soil, or if you're doing hydroponic gardening, make sure you have the right nutrients. And goals for the month. So what are your gardening goals for February, or whatever month it happens to be for you as you're watching this video? For me, I want to get my garden and my backyard organized. I want to get my garden bags prepared and everything ready for planting in early March. So that is all for today, folks, and thank you for watching. If you want to continue to learn more about this challenge and be reminded of what to do throughout the year, please subscribe, like this video, share if you know anybody else who'd be interested. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you for having that desire in your heart to grow your own food and help our environment at the same time. Bye.